Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the entire NFL season, all the division standings, all the awards, and the playoffs to see who I have winning the Super Bowl in 2026. Just quickly, I did this last year and it went horribly wrong. I'll probably leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. But I did redeem myself in the playoffs and the Super Bowl because I think I started 8 for 8 in the playoffs before the Bills losing in the wild card eventually ruined my bracket. But I did predict Seattle to win the Super Bowl at the start of the playoffs, and they did. So I was pretty happy about that. So I'll see if I can follow it up this year. And yeah, so we'll start off with the AFC. And AFC West, in fourth place, I have the Las Vegas Raiders with a record of 4-13. I think Fernando Mendoza might take a bit of time to adjust to the NFL, but I think definitely get the Raiders with a few wins, and I think by the end of the season they'll be humming and looking towards the future. Third in the division with a record of 7-10, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I actually used like a predictor, so I predicted every game. This division is versus the NFC West, so you can see that's kind of why they have maybe not the best record, because that's a few tough games. So I had them missing the playoffs. And then second in the division, I had the Kansas City Chiefs also missing the playoffs with a record of 8-9. And claiming the division, winning it, is the Denver Broncos with a record of 14-13. I think the defense is once again going to be elite, and I think Bo Nix in the offense will do enough to win them games with that stacked defense. I'm excited to see the Broncos go against the NFC West, like the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. All three of those games are going to be must-watch TV. Honestly, pretty much every game that involves a team from the NFC West is going to be cinema, except maybe the Cardinals games, unfortunately. Moving on to the NFC East. In fourth place, I have the New York Jets with an abysmal record of 2-15. I only think they get a couple wins. They got the tank commander, Geno Smith, at the helm. So I think they're going to be going for the number one pick again this year. Missed out on it last year, had the second pick. They want to tank again, get a quarterback. And then third in the division, also another tanking team. I had the Miami Dolphins finishing with a 3-14 record. I don't know. I think Malik Willis will get them a few games, a few wins. But most of their roster was gutted. Cut Tyreek, traded Jaden Waddle, man. It's going to be a rough season if you're a Dolphins fan. Second in the division, I have the New England Patriots following up from their Super Bowl loss last year. Obviously, they have a harder schedule this year, but I still think they're good enough to win 10 games and make a wild card spot. Winning the division, I have the Buffalo Bills with a 13-4 record. I think when you have Josh Allen, you're always going to be great in the regular season. I think for the Bills, it's always about the playoffs. But, they made a few good additions this year. Obviously, they got DJ Moore, so Josh Allen finally has a receiver. Feels like he's been throwing to basically nobody's ever since they traded Stephon Diggs. But he's got a number one guy now. So I think they're going to win the division. NFC North next. And finishing in fourth, I have the Cleveland Browns with a 6-11 record. I think the defense is going to be carrying them. I'm not sure what's going in the off with the quarterback situation. Is it Shador or Deshaun Watson? Honestly, I hope Shador. I think their defense is going to carry them to 6 wins, but I can't see them making the playoffs yet. And then third in the division, I have the Baltimore Ravens with a 10-7 record. I have them making the wild card just barely. But I think Lamar Jackson is going to give them a fair few wins, but I just don't think the Ravens are as scary as they were a couple years ago. So they're only just barely going to sneak into the playoffs. Second in the division, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they also make the wild card, sneak in with a 10-7 record. Aaron Rodgers is coming back. And even though they finally got a new coach, Mike McCarthy, I don't think their streak of a winning record is going to end. I think they're going to get 10 wins. I didn't even realise when I was picking their games that they were this high. I thought they'd miss the playoffs, but obviously they're in. That's kind of the Pittsburgh Steelers. First round exits all the way for the Steelers. And then winning the division, I have the Cincinnati Bengals with a 11-6 record. I know this sounds like a broken record. You've been hearing this every year. But if they can stay healthy, this Bengals team is nice. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, if they can stay healthy, they could be one of the best teams in the league. As long as the defense is half decent. Obviously, they lost Trey Hendrickson. But I think the offense is just going to be good enough to win them the division. Final division in the AFC, it's the AFC South. In last, I have the Tennessee Titans with a 3-14 record. I just don't see that much in this Titans team, man. It's hard. Cam Ward, sophomore season, I think he'll improve a bit, but just hard when you don't have too much around you. Third in the division, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, they won the division last year, but I don't know. I just don't see them following up. I'm not too sold on the Trevor Lawrence train, and in the predictor, I only predict them winning 7 wins and missing the playoffs. So yeah, second in the division, I have the Houston Texans with a 9-8 record. I do have them missing the playoffs though. CJ Stroud, I don't know what's going on with him, man. His rookie season was so good. He's won a playoff game in all 3 of his years, but I think the streak comes to an end this year. Even with their really good defense, I just couldn't see them making the playoffs. And barely winning the division, I have the Indianapolis Colts with a 10-7 record. I think Daniel Jones should be back for week 1, which, considering his Achilles injury, will be a good start. And I think with Jonathan Taylor, I think they could definitely win the division. Okay, over to the NFC now, and we're starting off with a good one, the NFC West. Fourth in the division, I have the Arizona Cardinals, my team, with a 3-14 record. I know some people have been clowning us saying we're going 0-17. I think we have some very good players. We have the best tight end in the league. If you don't agree with me, look at his perfect 99 overall Madden rating, Trey McBride. Hopefully, Jeremiah Love can have a bigger impact in his rookie season. We got Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison. If Jacoby Brissett's throwing the ball, it's good for my fantasy team. But obviously, yeah, tough division. Don't see us winning many more games than 3. I made the mistake last year of predicting we would win the division, so I've learned my lesson. Think we're coming last. But that's okay. We can build for the future. Hopefully get another top draft pick. Or maybe draft a QB. We'll see how we go. Third in the division, I have the Seattle Seahawks, the reigning Super Bowl champions with 11-6 record. But honestly, I just have the other 2 teams a bit better than them. I think they could still make some damage in the playoffs. But with that Rams team, it's going to be hard to win the division when the Rams are right there. Second in the division, I have the San Francisco 49ers with a 12-5 record. I think they were great last season. I think the only way is up. Brock Purdy was good last season. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, have another great year, why can't this team make the playoffs? And yeah, I had them winning 12 games. So I believe they're going to be right there come playoff time. But winning the division, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone. I have the Los Angeles Rams with a 15-2 record. I know some people predicted them to go 17-0, but that's just impossible. They're going to lose a couple games somewhere. That's just the way football is. I still think they're going to be the best in the NFL come the regular season. Next up, we have the NFC East. Fourth in the division, I have the New York Giants. I think they're going to win a couple games, but I think they're still a year or 2 off trying to compete for this division. Third in the division, I have the Dallas Cowboys with a 7-10 record. It's not their year. It's not their year. I think Dak Prescott's going to have a great season as always. But their defense just wasn't the greatest, so I have them missing the playoffs. Second in the division, I have the Washington Commanders with an 8-9 record. I also have them missing the division. It's just a tougher conference to be in. I think Jaden Daniels will bounce back, obviously, if he can stay healthy. But I still don't see them winning the playoffs. I think, even with Jaden Daniels, I think there's just a few holes in the team. So I think it's going to be tough to make the playoffs when the NFC West exists. And then first in the division, winning the division again, I have the Philadelphia Eagles with a 12-5 record. I think they'll be good. Made some great draft picks that I like. And, they're always thereabouts in the regular season. So I have them winning the division once again. Next up, we have the NFC North. And this one's a good one. I think any four of these teams could win the division. I said that was the NFC West last year, and it was kind of true, except obviously for the Cardinals. But to be fair, I would not be surprised if any one of these four teams won the division. But obviously only one can, and a few of them have to miss the playoffs. Just with that NFC West. So, fourth in the division, I have the Green Bay Packers with a 10-7 record. Unfortunately, I just couldn't see them being better than some of the other teams, even though they have a great defense. Jordan Love's an above-average quarterback, but I don't know, couldn't see them. And then third in the division, I have the Chicago Bears, also with a 10-7 record. I know they won the division last year, but I'm just not completely sold on Caleb Williams. He's clutch. He's probably the clutchest quarterback in the league. He's an Iceman for a reason. But some insane comebacks. But you're down in the first place for a reason. And I just think a lot of these teams that rely on comebacks too often, eventually it's going to catch up to you. I still think they're going to be a great team, but I have them missing the playoffs. Then second in the division, I have the Minnesota Vikings with a 11-16 record, just scraping in to the playoffs. Honestly, I might be a bit biased because I love Kyler Murray, but their defense is insane. They got one of the best wide receivers in the league, and here's Kyler Murray throwing to him, which obviously I love Kyler as much as the next guy, but he's not like a top 10 quarterback in the league. But he's good enough that he'll throw it in the vicinity to Justin Jefferson, and Jay Jettas will do the rest. And yeah, I have them making the playoffs. But first in the division, bouncing back, I have the Detroit Lions with a 12-5 record. They actually were last in the division last year, but I have them bouncing back to first. It was a tough year last year. They have Amon-Ra, they have Jahmyr Gibbs. Jared Goff should still be able to contribute. They have an above-average defense, I'd say, nothing too special. But I think it's good enough for them to win the division. Final division is the NFC North. Coming in last place, I have the Atlanta Falcons with a 3-14 record. I mean, they have Tua at quarterback, maybe Michael Penix, two lefties. They have Bijan, who's probably like a top 3 running back in the league. You could argue he might be the best. I'm not going to get into all of that. But I don't know. I just don't see them winning that many games, to be honest. Like, third in the division, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with an 8-9 record. I think they missed the playoffs. Baker Mayfield's there. I think it's a do-or-die year for him. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see them being that great, to be honest. I don't know what to say. Second in the division of the New Orleans Saints, also within the 8-9 record and also missing the playoffs. I think the Saints are still like a year off, maybe. I think Tyler Shock is definitely their quarterback. He's a bit older, but he's going to be the guy. And I think, they have a great team. I think I could definitely see them winning the division. But the team that I had over them, obviously, I just preferred them better. And coming in first is the Carolina Panthers with a 10-7 record. I have them winning the division for the second year in a row. This time, though, I do have them at least having a winning record with 10 wins. But, I don't know, I'm all in on Bryce Young. I guess he reminds me a lot of Kyler, and I love Kyler so much. That's why I love Bryce Young. I was rooting so hard for him in that Rams game. I felt like I was a honorary Panthers fan for the day. Honestly, I just really like the Panthers. They're probably, one of my top 3 favorite teams. I just like the energy, the vibes. Then they should just continue to get better, and I have them winning the division again. Quickly, we'll just do my NFL honors predictions. So, I didn't do the full list of the honors, but I thought just the most important ones I'll quickly cover. So, Coach of the Year, I had Sean McVay. I think if they win 15 games, you got to give it to him. I know the Rams were a great team last year. They made the NFC Championship. But I think they're just going to be so dominant that he'll get Coach of the Year. Protector of the Year, I don't study offensive linemen as much, I play gridiron and never been close to the line, honestly. So, I kind of thought names that sound familiar, names that I think should be good. So I just went with Quentin Nelson. Comeback Player of the Year, I went with a lot of people's picks. I went Aaron Donald. Obviously, he's coming back to the Rams most likely. I don't think it's official the time that I'm recording this, but I think it's pretty much a done deal that he will come back after a couple years out. I don't even think he needs to do much to get Comeback Player of the Year. If he even just gets on the field for, a few games, maybe gets a couple sacks, I think the award is his. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I went Caleb Downs. I think the Cowboys secondary was really bad, so I think he'll make an instant impact and get recognized for it. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I went Jeremiah Love just because I'm a Cardinals fan, so I have to root with my boy. I know it's going to be hard with our atrocious O-line. I just have to back my boy. Defensive Player of the Year, I went Pat Surtain the second. I think that Denver Broncos defense is going to be insane again. So I have him winning the award that he won a couple years back. I know a lot of people hyping up Myles Garrett to go back to back now that he's at the Rams. But I think the Rams are just going to be so much well-rounded, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. I don't think he'll get the award. A sleeper pick I might put out for you that might be one of the finalists, Gerald Verse. He's the guy that got traded for Myles Garrett. If he goes to the Browns, I have no reason why he can't put up a double-digit sack season, maybe 15 sacks, and maybe be close to this award. Then Offensive Player of the Year. This is basically the best offensive player, non-quarterback. I went with Justin Jefferson, probably mostly because I'm rooting for my boy Carlo to throw him the ball a lot, but I think he'll just be great. I just have a feeling the Vikings make the playoffs, and he puts up some great numbers. And then MVP, I was thinking Stafford, but I thought maybe a lot of people had him going back-to-back, so I went with Josh Allen in the end. Okay, so now it's time for my playoff predictions. I'm starting with the wildcard round. We'll start in the AFC. So Colts, Patriots. I had the Patriots getting the job done there. Bengals, Steelers. I had the Bengals getting the win there. Bills, Ravens. Another classic Bills-Ravens match. I had the Bills getting on top at home. Over to the NFC. Panthers, 49ers. I actually went with the Panthers to get some kind of upset there. They almost bet the Rams last year, so I think they get the job done and win a playoff game this year around. Lions, Seahawks. It's really hard to go past the Seahawks with that defense. JSN, Sam Donald. Eagles, Vikings. I went another upset and went the Vikings. Obviously, I'm really hoping Kyler Murray finally wins a playoff game. Divisional round now. AFC, Bills, Bengals. I actually went the Bengals. I'm sick and tired of trusting Josh Allen in the playoffs. I had him winning the Super Bowl last year. Not going to do it. So I'm going to say Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase get the win here. Broncos, Patriots, a rematch of last year's AFC Championship. I went the Broncos getting their revenge this time. I think the defense is just going to be too much for Drake May. Hopefully, Bo Nix is healthy this time around. Then, time for the NFC. I went Rams-Vikings. As much as I want the Vikings to go further on, I think this is going to be a obliteration. I pray for my boy Kyler Murray's life with Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett coming after him. He's going to be running like a toddler around the field trying to make some crazy throws, and I hope he does, but I reckon this is a blowout watch. Panthers-Seahawks, once again, another team, the Panthers, I would want to move on. Out of these matchups, probably in an ideal world, I'd have the Panthers and the Vikings, but the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Seahawks, it's hard to look past them, so I have the Seahawks moving on to set up an NFC Championship rematch from last year. Okay, so for the championship game, starting with the AFC Championship, I have the Denver Broncos beating the Bengals. I think that the defense is really good. I think it'll be able to hold Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I have them moving on to the Super Bowl. Then in the NFC, rematch of last year's NFC Championship. I think this time with the additions they've added, like Myles Garrett, like Trent McDuffie, if Aaron Donald comes back and plays pretty good, I think the Rams will beat the Seahawks this time around and end their chances of a back-to-back. Super Bowl 61, Broncos-Rams. Everything's telling me to pick the Rams. They're the way better team. Both teams have elite defenses, so they kind of cancel it out. So it's down to who do you trust more, Stafford or Nix? Now, I honestly trust Matthew Stafford more than Bo Nix. But I'm Aussie. I like to do something different. Everything's telling me to pick the Rams. But that's boring. That's what everyone is doing. So Broncos country, let's ride. I have the Denver Broncos winning Super Bowl 61 over the stacked Rams. Come back to this video in February after the Super Bowl and I'll either look like a genius or a dumb Aussie that you're never going to listen talk about NFL again. So, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. I know it's a bit of a long one. I'm filming this in July, so it might take me a while to get this out, so that's why I started earlier, because last year it got to the start of the season and it still wasn't ready. So this time I'm definitely going to try and get it out before the end of the season. So make sure you like and subscribe. Go Cardinals! And I'm so excited for NFL football, baby.